Now I'd like to call our third speaker from Sri Lanka. We have to call Vasanta Deshapriya. Re-engineering government in ICTA.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Dinesh, in this beautiful occasion.
So to start with, I'd like to give a little bit of background about public sector implementation of HR.
It is a very contrast picture if you compare HR automation with the public sector and private sector, because public sector HR automation is almost a greenfield. Other than a few HR automation initiatives that we have started and some others have started, major organizations are not having any automated HR system. So simply because the government is the biggest employer in this country, this is a major concern, because without proper system, automation, automated system, there is no way that government can even assess the employee strength, the cadre in the government, and also on the other hand, how much they are spending on the salary. So there's a huge potential on the other hand, because the government is now seeing the potential of automated HR management, where we have been working, and there's huge area and potential for us to work on bringing HR automated management into the government.
Thank you, Vasanta. So maybe you can also explain what were some of the key challenges when you started automating HR in government.
So there have been there are so many challenges when you are trying to introduce, especially not even HR automation, ICT into the government, simply because the top management of the government, the ICT literacy rate is very low. 75% of our top management is not ICT. They have never used a computer, not gone to Google, not used Wikipedia. So you can assess the gap between the private sector top management. So how simply because this huge gap, the top management is not seeing the capability and potential of HR automation and what the benefit it can bring out. So the mindset plus ICT literacy, lack of literacy is the biggest challenge from my point of view. Number two is that the concept of HR in the government is completely different from the private sector, simply because there are many central government organizations which are recruiting people and deploying them all over the country in so many locations. So the people who recruit the people, staff are not responsible for paying or managing at where they are deployed. So, and on the other hand, some organizations are directly recruiting and deploying people at their locations, and then there are contract basis, temporary, and there are so many ways of hiring people and getting them to work. On the other hand, the laws, the rules that are governing the HR management are so vast and complex. The main book is the Establishment Code, as we call E-Code, and there are so many other books. And so this makes it a very complex picture in the government HR management. Thirdly, the numbers are staggering. As I said, we know that it is over 1 million people are employed by the government. To give one example that we did for the Ministry of Public Administration, they have 36,000 people in the combined services. And on the other hand, the ISAMU, the HR system, has 26,000 people. So these are going to, even to start the data entry and managing is a huge challenge, and the humongous effort from the government to get into the HR management.
So what are the key benefits achieved from automation of HR in the public sector?
Again, Dinesh, very relevant question, because as I said, the government was not aware how many people that is working under the government. So to begin with, the Ministry of Public Administration now is aware that 36,000 people are working in the combined services division. So at least that is the number one. Secondly, that has the system that we implemented at the Ministry of Public Administration has increased the efficiency in many folds. To take one example, these 36,000 people are basically transferred to various places every 5 years. So every year, 6,000, 7,000 people are annually transferred. So from August to December, 40 staff members, including staff officers, work for 4 months to arrange annual transfers. So after the introduction of HR system, it is amazing, it took only 2 weeks for 20 people to complete this entire annual transfer. So from 160 man-months to 10 man-months is a huge achievement from my point of view. On the other hand, before the automation, they used 80 packets of A4 sheets to print the transfer schedules. After the automation, it was cut down to 2 packets only since 2009, 2008, 2010. This is becoming a huge transformation, because everything is now going over the email or on the CDs. The transfer list are electronically transferred. So on the thirdly, this system is giving mechanism to profile the employee, bringing up an employee profile to see assess the competencies, the areas they have been working, and the expertise that they have built up. So this gives government a very good opportunity to see who are the people best suitable for different jobs. So this is the first time that government is getting an opportunity to assess the profile and base their deployment policy based on the competence.
Thank you very much, Vasant. I think that was great, and definitely the government will have a great benefit by implementing HR system. And I like to Now, I'd like to call upon our fourth speaker, Ravi Raghunathan. He is the Human Resource Director for Equifarm in Malaysia. Good morning, Ravi.
Morning. Morning, everybody, and selamat datang or welcome to this HR conference.
So, to start first, I think maybe it would be good to give a little bit of a business challenges for Equifarm and give a little bit of background about Equifarm to start with.
Well, Equifarm is a young organization, a pharmaceutical organization. We are not a typical drug company in the sense that we focus on products which are based from plant-based, herbal-based, natural products. It's very unique because our global headquarters is in Malaysia, and 95% of our business is actually done in the European Union. So it's a business challenge for us to operate from such a distance. We have experienced rapid business growth over the last 5 years, tenfold growth, and in 40 different countries. The staff headcount has also grown 25-fold in the last 5 years, which also means there's higher demand of shareholders in respect of return on equity. We also had to, in a very competitive environment in the pharma industry, we had to stay ahead of the market competition. The pharma industry, being first in the market is very important because you get the advantage. So we had to challenge the big boys, the big pharma companies like the GSKs, the Pfizers, and even in India, the big pharmaceutical companies. As I mentioned, the global operational headquarters in KL, business in Europe, that was really a business challenge for us.